What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with yet another rant review about Gunna's new project called Drip or Drown 2. Not even going to bother changing my clothes for this one. I just did the Lil Pump review, so I'm going to record this one just to bang them out. Because just like the Lil Pump one, there really isn't too much to be said here. Gunna has certainly made a name for himself. He's an artist who's coming out of Atlanta. He's made a lot of noise with Young Thug as well as working with Lil Baby. But this is the first time I ever listened to a solo project of his, because everything else I heard from him, whether it was on a mixtape or a feature, whatever you want to say, it just was not interesting or engaging to me at all. He really does sound like one of these generic crooners who works the same flows, doesn't get into too much content, and does it over production that's usually pretty good. And that is exactly, I could sum this review up right now just by what I said. That's pretty much what you're getting with this right here. He's not saying anything of interest, so I don't even have any bars to break down for you. Really, the only thing that kind of stuck out to me on here was when he said on Outstanding, "You lil niggas copy and paste." I just thought that was kind of funny because he really sounds like everyone else that maybe he's talking about. He's just doing the same thing that so many people are doing right now. And production-wise, you know what? You are getting a lot of wavy and watery sounds that do fit with the aesthetic of this project. It's called Drip or Drown. You can see the cover where he's underwater with this umbrella. Almost kind of reminds me of that Nirvana cover where the baby's naked floating underwater. Not that those are very much in common other than being underwater, but I don't know, just, that was such an iconic cover. Whenever I see something like this, that's what it makes me think of. But anyway, this is one of those projects where I actually didn't mind some of the tracks as far as just the sound of it. I could see people putting this on and just working with it, maybe driving around at night, hanging out and chilling, but it simply gets boring very, very fast, man. There are a couple of tracks I didn't mind. With It and Outstanding had some pretty good production. I think Wheezy was great throughout here, as well as all the other producers. They certainly did what they had to do with crafting this wavy aesthetic for Gunna to work with. Works for the late night driving, like I said, and just some wavy type of shit. But there was not enough here to warrant the runtime of this project. This is one of those projects where once you get like 3, 4, maybe 5 tracks in at best, you look at the track list and you're like, God damn it, are you telling me I have to go through another 10 tracks of this? And then there really isn't much variation for the rest of the project. It really just feels like you're hearing the same couple of tracks over and over. I will say on the last track here, let me find out what was that called. I had it taken down in my notes, but of course, all of a sudden it's gone. The last track's called Who You Foolin'. It has this very cool Chinese sound to it. I don't know what exactly it was that they sampled, but just the Asian instruments coming into play were really dope on that. I think there was a Chinese song at sample. I don't have that right here. I just remember reading about it. So that was a cool moment, but mostly you are getting these very simple, wavy synth beats that you hear other auto crooners get on. But Gunna himself just sounds like a great value Young Thug. I've said that in plenty of other reviews. He's not interesting with his voice. He's not doing anything too crazy with his flows or the stuff that he's saying. He's just kind of there, and it goes on and on and on. Not only that, but there's very few features on here. Like, I think it was very ambitious of him to try to do such a long project by himself, because when you're this type of artist who does the same style as a bunch of other artists, you don't mix your flow and sound up too much, and you don't say a lot. Does anyone really need this many songs from you? Yeah, of course. I'm sure there's some diehard Gunna fans out there. Yes, maybe them. And obviously you got to cater to your fans, so I understand that. But overall, man, this feels like it could have been 4 or 5 tracks, and even then it still would have been a painfully average project. But as this project is, I think it's 16, 17 tracks long, it just goes on and on and on. I did manage to make my way through it. I did go on Genius and look through some of the lyrics just to see if there's anything I missed or anything interesting to say. But you're getting the typical braggadocious shit. Maybe the odd thing about coming up and just, doing better now that he's in the rap game, but that's about it, man. Like, there's not much to say in this. That's why I just decided to do another quick rant review for this one. Even here, as I'm scrolling down my notes, thinking, what else is interesting here? I think I've pretty much said everything that there is to be said. At best, you might be humming along with some melodies. You might like a couple of beats, so you could skim through this, maybe pick a couple of tracks that you like beat-wise, put them into rotation for when you're driving around. Like, there wasn't anything on here that I thought was all-out awful that I heard, and I was like, wow, this is trash. Like, that Lil Pump record had tons of stuff on it that I thought was absolutely brutal. Whereas this one, it's kind of wavy, it's kind of vibey. I understand it a bit more. I could see it working, but even still, like, I can't really award many points here because there's not a whole lot for creativity. Again, like I said in the Pump review, I don't want to just be rewarding the production too much because the producers did their thing, but if you can't do anything interesting or engaging or unique or exceptional over top of these beats, what am I really supposed to do? Just give you a bunch of points for just doing something that a million other people are doing? Like, you, the viewer, could probably get this auto-tune effect and do pretty much the same thing he's doing on these beats. You'd be pretty damn close. That's just what it seems like now. in the rap game. Very low standards. Anybody can do the simple shit and succeed. So I don't even want to talk about this one anymore. Another project that's not very good. I'm going to go with the 1.5 out of 5. I think it's a little bit better than Pumps, but still, man, it's just a very repetitive and redundant sound on a very repetitive and redundant album. There's just no creativity or depth or anything of intrigue here for me. So that's how I feel. But if you like it, I would understand. You just put the shit on, you know, you're driving around in a late night enjoying some vibes or whatever. But as a whole, this album did not come together that good for me. I like the odd track like this. Like, I could take maybe 2 or 3 tracks and put them into a mix or something like that. But a whole album of pretty much the same sound and the same shit over and over. Shit is boring and redundant and repetitive, just like me saying it's boring, repetitive, and redundant. I said that a couple times already, I think. So we're going to wrap up 1.5 out of 5. It is what it is. It's how I feel. You guys can let me know in the comment section what you think about this one. Make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you again for watching. Hopefully we got some better projects coming up. We'll see what happens. Going to talk about that Offset. That's a bit more interesting, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'll be talking to you guys in the comments section. And until then, I will see you next time.